YouTube, it's your boy Ty, aka TYHANDSGIFTED. Let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. Alright, so the very first thing we want to do is comb his hair. We want to lift his hair up off the scalp. So we're going to go ahead and comb in the direction that his hair is growing in, and that helps me be able to see the pattern. Alright y'all, next up we're going to do is we're going to debulk, which means we're simply just going to take off the hair that we don't need so we can get ready for the tapering process. So as you can see, I'm just going with the grain with a 1.5 guard all the way open, and I'm just going ahead and just knocking off the hair we don't need. Later in the video, you will see that I did go down to a 1 guard because he wanted to take it down a little bit lower, but you can always, start off safe. If you're always questioning a client's desired length, you can always start off, big, either with a 2 guard or a 1.5, and just kind of work your way down. But I know my client, typically sometimes he'll do a 1.5 guard, or he'll go like a 1 guard open. So I started off with the 1.5. Eventually you will see I did go down to the 1 guard open. But yep, so as you can see, again, just going with the grain, taking my time, because he's very specific about his hair. He don't want no gaps. He don't like to really see his scalp too much, so he likes to keep it dark. So again, I'm going with the grain, being very, very careful. And as you can see on his side, you can see that the waves kind of disappear. And we're going to talk about how to deal with that later. All right, and so now we're into the crown. Again, you can see I'm taking my time going with the grain because I don't want to gap his crown. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to look like there's a hole literally at the top of his head. So it's very, 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 very important. Take your time on the crown. Combing it out, comb out action. I know you see it. You always want to continue to comb as you're cutting, so you can make sure what you're seeing is what you're seeing, and you're not cutting over something over and over and over and over and over. Listen to your clipper too. If you don't hear anything cutting, it's not cutting nothing. And at this moment, you can see I put on the 1 guard open, and I'm just knocking off a little more length, so that we can go ahead and get ready for the tapering process. And if you like what you see here on this channel, please don't hesitate, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell's notification so you don't miss another video. Keep your clients clean too. That just adds another level of professionalism. You want your client to feel comfortable at all times. So make sure you keep them clean. And again, we just want to make this canvas as clean as possible. Typically, I don't take this long to debulk. I'm just taking my time for the video, just to show you guys the process. But debulking, man, should be 2 to 3 minutes max, depending on the situation. All right, let's get into this back taper. You're gonna start by setting your bald line, which is just balding. Everything under that line is bald. That's what the bald line means. You can either set it in like I did, or you can scoop it in this motion as well. Make sure everything is nice and clean. I like to work clean. All right, next is your lever open. We're gonna go about a finger's length all the way across. The key to having a clean taper is to follow the line, the guideline. If you notice, you see I'm perfectly perpendicular with the line that I set. And now we're gonna start to bald out that line that we created. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go halfway open, scoop in halfway between the top line and the bottom line. And then I'm going quarter close and then all the way close, just still working out that bottom line until it disappears. So you gotta have a consistent hand. You gotta be disciplined. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take our 1 guard and we're gonna go up another finger's length. Now his hair, as you'll start to notice when I comb it out, it flows to the left. So I'm just right now just setting the bulk line at that top. You can see at the top it's creating like a little bulk line. But as I comb out, you'll start to see that bulk line kind of disappears. It's because his hair grows actually to the left. And if you notice, I was taking my clipper and I'm kind of combing to the left, using my corner, using my full blade. So it's a mixture of things. I use my corner if I need to work out like a small area and I don't want to take it up too high. So, you know, a lot of beginners I see do long strides. You want to keep your movements short. See how short my movements are? You want to keep your movements short, because if I'm taking longer movements with each stroke, then I could possibly take the fade too high. So you want to be real careful. And if you notice, I'm doing a circular motion because hairs can grow in multiple directions. So that can just always secure yourself to make sure you're hitting every direction. And what I just pointed out right there was that's the line we're going to go ahead and focus on taking out. So with that line, I'm going with a 0.5 guard all the way close. We're just going to go ahead and knock that out. So you got to kind of go past the line a little bit to take it out. A lot of beginners will scoop up to the line, and only just scooping up to the line will keep pushing the line up. So you got to kind of go past it to be able to take out that line. And a flick out motion too. So I know you see me doing small strokes, but I'm also flicking out too. And again, I'm going with the patterns of his hair. Okay guys, so the next step is we're gonna start to fade down. So we took the hair down with the 1. So I'm going to use a 1.5 guard to kind of blend in that area that has a lot of bulk. I'm gonna blend that bulk area into that 1 that we took it down with, because hair in the back tends to be a little more dense. So you have to kind of go against the grain to kind of knock the hairs down. So instead of me going against the grain with a small guard, I'm going against the grain with the next guard up from what we took it down with. So that way I'm not taking too much off and it blends in with that 1. So if that makes sense. I know that sounds confusing. I'm using a 1.5 guard to blend into the 1 guard that we used to take it down with. So that way it blends in together. I hope that makes sense, but you see what's going on. Just that whole bulky area that was just too much bulk, just went ahead and took that out with the 1.5 guard. All right, and then I'm just reinforcing it with the 1 guard again, but this time I have it closed, and I'm just taking debulking those areas and just blending it in. So right here is kind of detail work, guys. I mean, you have to, with detail work, it's your eye. You know, this is what sets every barber apart. Every barber can fade, every barber can do a lineup, but it's about the details. Your eyes, your hands make you different from the next barber, because your level of detail may be different than the person on the left to you, or the right to you, or the barber you cut across. Your level of detail sets you apart. And again, always keep your client clean. All right, let's get ready for the mid taper on the side. Again, this is a mid taper tutorial using that 1 guard to knock it down. And because this is a mid taper, he still will be keeping a little bit of the C cup. If he was to knock it out all the way, technically it'll be a high taper. So again, just going ahead and debulking. And we're going to start with the ball line. As you can see, I'm setting the ball line right at the crease of his ear. And then I'm going lever open. Now, because we're working with a shorter area, I'm not doing a finger's length. I'm going to be doing about a 1/2 inch. Fully open. Using my corners because we are working with a smaller area. As you can see, I went halfway open now. Quarter close, all the way close. And each time that I close the lever, I'm working lower. Just take out that ball line. You want to make sure you're clean. Next, I'm doing the 1 guard all the way open. Now, I know I went down with the 1 guard, but I'm also using the 1 guard open to go ahead and blend into that as well. And I'm going about another 1/2 inch. between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch I'm going. And again, I'm going with the way that his hair grows. I know I see that area where there's a lot of bulk right behind his ear, so I went ahead and knocked that down. And there's still some detail work in there that needs to be done. As you can see, I'm using my corners. And I'm flicking out as well. But again, I'm taking my time. Because this is a small area, because you don't want to take it up too high. There's a little line there. It needs to be cleaned up, so I use a 0.5 guard to go ahead and just knock out that little line there. Again, using my corners, being very careful. Alright, so after preparing the hairline, which I use alcohol, liquid razor, and a little bit of a holding spray, and I dry that out with the blow dryer, we're going to go ahead and start the lineup process. I like to start lining up in the back. So again, lining up is just a process of just making sure you're not, make sure your lines are straight and even, but you also want to make sure that you're not doing any pushbacks. Some pushbacks are necessary, depending on the situation, but you don't want to push the line back in the neck. So you want to make sure you're very, very careful. Take your time. Yes, there are, you do have to get to your next clients and things like that, but man, don't cheat the process. Take your time and make sure every line is clean. Comb over it, brush over it multiple times. Keep attacking it. And as you can see, I'm making sure that the area is clean of all hair. Ooh, a lot of crispy, boy. And then I like to always, when I do the back line, I always do the back of the beard as well. Just to keep things flowing. Sheesh. Liner's hitting, boy. Yes, sir. Straight business. Again, same thing on the other side. Taking your time, making sure you keep everything clean. Clean up around the ear, clean up around the neck. And again, brush over the line multiple times. Because sometimes you can keep moving and then you brush it and then you realize like, oh snap. And again, you don't want a white wall behind the ear. White wall just means that you just take the line up too high above the ear. You want to just keep everything natural as possible. The liners is hitting, and I'm using my Babyliss FX Skeletons, which is one of my favorite liners in the game. Y'all in the comments below, tell me what your favorite liners are, what y'all rocking with right now. I need some new liners anyway. I actually have a couple of liners I don't. I got the GTXs. I got like 3 skeletons. I got sabers. So I'll be lying, I don't need no more liners, but if it's one that I absolutely need to get, please let me know in the comments. After barber college, it's like you don't really keep up with it as much, but you just know what you know what works. And right here for the C cup, I start off making sure my blade, I always pay attention to my blade to make sure that it's straight when I start off, and then I just use my corner just to curve down. And I do the same thing on the other side. Before the lineup, I like to start in the middle and work one direction, and then I'll go ahead and work the other direction as well. But just keeping that blade straight. The key to having a straight hairline is to pay attention to the blade. You have to pay attention because sometimes you can have that blade curved, and when you get done, you realize that the blade is, that your hairline is kind of crooked. So And that's okay, because that's why we take our time and we're able to make adjustments. Because again, as you can see, it starts in the middle, and I usually use the nose as a guideline. I'll start in the middle where the nose is, make sure the blade is straight, and just start working across, taking my time. Some people like to start with the verticals. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I like to make a 7. So sometimes I'll do the vertical and then just start the line and create like a 7, the perfect 7 that I can make on both sides, and then I'll meet it in the middle. So it all depends, man. Y'all let me know in the comments like how y'all like to do y'all line ups. Well, YouTube, this is the cut. I appreciate y'all for watching. This is a mid taper. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, if you enjoyed this video, please again hit the subscribe button, hit the notification so you won't miss the next video. Until then, I'm out.